Happy New Year and welcome to Little Less Than Random.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, how's
We
everybody doing?
officially survived 2020. Can you fucking believe that?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know.
A
Um,
lot has changed since a lot has happened since our last episode,
I
and
don't remember how long has it been? Was it before Christmas? Our
it
last.
wa- it was during the election, and we weren't even sure who was gonna win at that point.
Right. Well, I think it was starting to lean towards.
But we don't even have to say because it's fucking obvious. If you haven't been watching the news the past 2 months, then you've been just living under a rock.
Okay, I do have something to say about the election. So there's a lot of people who have like unfalsifiable beliefs, right? And
Yeah.
um, there's just no amount of evidence that they would accept to say that Biden won the election, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question to viewers, if you fall in that category, what evidence would be sufficient, like just to even kind of put something there?
Oh, like dead people voted.
Yeah, but I mean that there's probably some truth that one or two people
Yeah,
who.
exactly. In Georgia, we'll talk about Georgia
Oh,
more,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go
but
ahead with that.
just it's like a very small anomaly. Just two people and voted or something. I mean, something about a woman's dead husband or vice versa, but something like within those lines.
Yeah, almost everything that they say, like, well, there's probably some number of people who passed from COVID who voted, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
Is that from me?
yeah, I mean, I get calls and shit.
Yeah, you're a popular guy.
I'm a popular guy. What can I say? Too popular.
Yeah. So go ahead and talk about that. You're gonna mention something about Georgia?
Georgia, Georgia, Georgia. Where do I even start? Oh yeah, so let's fast forward all the whole, bullshit with the fraud and whatnot. Up until up until now, Trump, an leaked audio call.
Oh, yeah, people wanna prosecute him for that? You wanted to prosecute him for that, right?
Who wouldn't?
I actually don't. I think, at this point, he's lost the election. What is I it's
I
been.
mean, there has to be some consequence. He can't just say shit and attempt to do shit, and then he gets a slap of a wrist, slap of the wrist.
Right. Well, I just generally don't think we should try to prosecute presidents. I think that
I like my presidents that are honest and don't have anything to hide
I mean,
and
it's.
that can accept the fucking loss.
Well, typically, we impeach a president, and he's already lost, and he's already been.
Don't tell me you're like Susan Collins and I think he learned his lesson.
No, I don't think he's learned his lesson.
Exactly. So that more reason to fucking prosecute his ass.
I just don't see a point. Just the cost of taxpayers alone for all of these shenanigans that have been going on for 4 years. He was the president. We don't have any smoking guns. Even this one, it's like, what do I always ask people when people say we're going to prosecute President Trump or will he
And
pardon?
there was no cracking either.
Well, what is he?
Well, I don't know. He was I mean,
We've tried for four
he
years.
tried. He tried.
No, we
And he will
have. I
continue to try
honestly.
up until my birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. As of this recording, tomorrow's my birthday, and
Okay.
shit is happening on my birthday.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of shit happening, but in the grand scheme of things, it looks like Georgia could go to Democrats, and
Yeah, especially on the state runoff things. Yeah, why not? Why the fuck not? You know what? Supposedly Trump was there for support. I think he's actually hurting, the support of the Republican senators in this runoff election.
I agree. I
And
think.
he is helping just because the whole shenanigans he's pulling off with the whole,
Right.
calling, soliciting for overturning the results. I mean, he's trying to sugarcoat. He's trying to make it seem like he's a nice guy slash mafia boss.
And
He's like,
it goes back to.
he's like, what did he say exactly in that phone call? He said, there's nothing wrong with saying that you re-examined and you recalculated. Mhm. He's like, all I'm looking for, like, this is all I want. I want to find 11,780 votes.
Yeah.
People are angry. Maybe his people.
Right, his people are angry, and it seems like the only way that you can, quote, unquote, "find," like, this verb, "find votes,"
Yeah, yeah, the same thing he's accusing Biden of doing. He's
right,
like, "Oh, they were finding votes
but
like last minute."
there's a trend in how Republicans want to, quote, unquote, "find votes." They wanna find votes, which is not how it works. There are people who voted, and there's the will of the voters, and then there's the people, they're just the votes, you're just counting them.
Not like you're gonna find a random ballot you didn't see there, like, "Oh, there's a ballot I forgot."
Not like,
That's
right.
one ballot right there.
Although
Uh,
we could talk a bit about that, because I think there was one state that did do a recount. Was it Georgia? And
Probably Georgia, because
there
Georgia had what, how many?
there
3
was a
recounts?
difference. There was a difference.
And, they're saying a recount's not enough, that there has to be an audit.
Well, there should be an audit probably, because there was a difference. Wasn't it several hundred votes?
Probably more like, I don't know, if you listen to that 1-hour rant phone call.
I have an honest question, and this is obviously 100 votes is not going to overturn the election, but I have an honest question. What number of votes would be acceptable to us as society? Like, we should decide what percentage of the vote would be, of, like, margin of error. Because any errors on something so important should really be uncomfortable, right? It should be uncomfortable if 100 votes goes the wrong way, right?
Well, I don't know, according to Trump's logic, that if he was winning so much, like, if you look at his quote unquote the size of his rallies, that would be, the number of voters he would have gotten.
I,
Yeah, had you listened to that phone call, you know what the fuck I'm talking about when he says this kind of shit.
always exaggerates that too. But
Yeah.
the thing is, he can't falsify his beliefs. But this would go to, supporters of
Oh,
Trump.
he said he can or can't falsify his
Yeah,
beliefs,
I mean, there are people. There is no amount of evidence. Now, an audit would
but
have.
there is no evidence.
Exactly, but there's no amount of evidence to falsify it too. That's the problem, is that some claims are not. There's a phrase, I don't know if it was Carl Sagan, but one of the famous physicists used it, where he said somebody wasn't even wrong. Um, the claims made by Republicans aren't even wrong. And here's what I mean, is that there would be no way to falsify them. But honest question, is 100 votes unsettling? I don't know. I think that's a little unsettling, that 100 votes could be wrong. We know one or two. We know that there's going to be, like, very minuscule amounts of voter fraud. Maybe 100 votes is nothing. I don't know. In the grand scheme of the vast number of people who vote,
I kind of wish that just Trump lost by landslide. But believe me when I say this, and if you're a Trump supporter, my thoughts will probably offend you when I say this. 70 million fucking people voted for this dumbass.
right.
What does that got to say about, you know,
Well,
about
they'll just reverse
society?
it and say 70 million people voted for Biden, and they'll, start listing off the reasons they don't like Biden. But,
But Biden, I trust someone who has years of experience in politics.
well, they would just
Trump is just a
and they would just
con man.
reverse it and say, "You've got this guy, who's been awful for, 40 some, years in politics, versus a guy who, has been awful for 4 years in politics." So, I mean, they would just say it's the lesser of two evils. So, I mean, you have to get in the mindset of
And
what.
that's what this whole thing is. It's just choosing the lesser evil. I mean, really, I don't really give two fucks about politics.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I'm just tired of listening to this guy
Especially because
cry and lie day in and day out.
you can never falsify the other side's position. They'll just they'll believe anything. And
Oh
I
yeah, just like they believe QAnon and the deep state and all that shit.
Pizzagate. Well, I mean, there probably are weird conspiracies on the left too. I can't really think of any off the top of my.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lack of evidence. He's just basing. If you hear that phone call, you said, "Oh, well, the rumor is, based on my opinion, that that Dominion was moving parts or the machinery, but is it true that they probably moved the machine parts and the machinery,
I have no idea what he's talking about, but
the voting machines that used in Georgia?"
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, he said rumor. I mean, he's not saying there's any evidence.
literally, like he uses those words.
You can't prosecute. Here's the thing that annoys me: is people say prosecute him. You can't prosecute him for being an idiot. That's not
I kind of wish there was,
it's not a crime to be an
but
idiot. Okay,
you know what? I
we
guess it's his constitutional right to be a dumbass.
yeah, we should switch and move on to another idiot, which was, the Twisted Tea thing. Do you wanna talk about that? And
Oh, you want to talk about another racist idiot?
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, this one's more like an obvious idiot. Yeah. So going off of that, yeah, that viral video that's been around what since like right before the new year. Racist white guy goes in there,
Racist oh, yeah, yeah. Not wearing a mask, right?
not wearing a mask. I don't know if that was even the deal.
Mhm.
All right,
Well,
so
okay,
obviously there was a
here's the
man of color, a black man. He was
and
taking it all in, right?
he's just
He
saying
didn't want to have any of what this white guy was saying. This
yeah,
white guy thought he was so entitled to use the N word
right. Well, not just once, but over and over to
over and over, like repeatedly, insistently, insistently.
right. Okay, so what happens?
So if you watch that video, that man, right, the one with the mask, he has the can. He was contemplating about it. You
Yeah,
can tell he was looking at it
I know from the angle
on
you
the side,
he
and
already
then he wanted to flip it. I think that was unintentional that he missed, or maybe he purposely fainted the can when he fumbled it. And then right before that, white racist asshole kicks the can, recovers the can, smacks him with it,
Right.
and then what ensues is this ground and pound game.
I think the guy was on something because, he
Which guy? The white guy, or the
right,
black
yeah.
guy?
So,
Who?
um, do you
The
think
T guy?
no, the racist guy, the guy
Okay,
saying the N-word. Do you think that he was on something? Because I saw that coming for, I don't know, probably a good couple seconds.
probably, or
So, like, how do you
well, you could be a racist
and
and
not
a drunk.
okay, but alright, now, again, I always like to, like, uh, look
I
at
mean, honestly, that white guy had it coming, spewing that nonsense.
let's say he I mean, honestly, probably does. I think his actions are deplorable, his statements are deplorable. Assault is worse, and, um, if I had to say
Hey, at least he smacked him once with that can, and then knocked him on his ass. Surprisingly enough, the racist guy gets up almost as if it was nothing. But then after that, it was the whole tackle and ground and pound game.
yeah. But again, let's say that's the thing is okay. Let's say the guy, he's carrying something, and let's say he's got a permit to carry a gun. I'm not. I don't know anything about the open carry laws. Let's just hypothetically. Let's just say he's really strong. The guy. Let's say hypothetically, the Twisted Tea guy misses, or hits him, but he doesn't phase him. That guy would legally be in the right to defend himself, and he would be morally right to defend himself in that situation. And so, imagine if
Okay, first of all, we're not talking about Texas.
no,
What part of the
no,
country
I'm
this
just
was in?
talking about like words do not equal assault, and I think that
Really, not even if those words are like racially charged.
yeah, yeah, really. And so, I mean, the guy with the twisted teeth, he's probably gonna face some sort of consequence.
I
And,
don't think he did. I think I would have heard about that by now.
well, let's
I
just
think everyone's saying that he's a hero. He's
well,
like
I think there's
standing up to.
feeling that you want to believe that people are a hero, but, um, uh, I
Well, I guess you don't know the internet like I do, Andrew.
no, I'm saying probably the popular belief is that, but laws aren't based on popular belief.
Well, I'm not saying that laws are based on public beliefs. Oh, are you saying that he can have consequence for what he was doing, but
Yeah.
Trump can't have
Ex
any consequences for
Trump
the stupid
Trump
shit
is
he says?
well, no, because, again, this is a lot like Trump. You can't it's not a law broken to be an idiot. It's not a law broken to be a racist. And you can't
Well, okay, I guess you're right. I guess he quote unquote learned his lesson.
oh, I don't know. Probably not. Honestly, that guy's probably cemented his opinions of, of other people, and he's probably gonna be more racist because of the twisted tea thing. Because now he probably thinks that his beliefs about, other people, minorities, is justified. And so, he was
Just
saying
to be clear, are we talking about, who are we talking about here,
the
Trump
guy
or
the guy no, the guy who
the
got assaulted. Um, and
the
so
white guy? The
yeah,
poor racist white guy, right?
yeah, in fact, I mean, honestly, usually when we hear about these stories, they're usually people who are pathetic and who nobody would wanna trade places.
Which he is.
Exactly. So, why do you have to hit him? Um, the fact that,
I don't know, it's just satisfying, isn't it? Like,
no, it's not, because here's the thing, is as soon as the guy hits him, he has brought that guy down a peg by virtue of making the guy violent. He has gotten under
hey,
this.
hey, don't get shit twisted.
I'm just saying,
See what I did there?
I get what you're saying, but I really think that, it's a mistake. It
Well, you know what? I
it
think he got canceled.
I know, I saw the joke. Uh,
Yeah.
well, anyways, and I'm just not I'm personally not a fan of assault for words, because there's I don't know if you've heard of concept creep, where the person who defines the words as, socially acceptable to physically assault the other person, that can be a slippery slope.
Well, it's a trigger word. I mean, think about it. I mean, I don't know. I don't really wanna get into, like, that kind of an argument
I
because
know,
we could go
yeah,
all day talking about that.
that's okay, we could disagree on it and still be friends.
I mean, agree to disagree on it, yeah.
I know you like the memes.
But if you wanna talk about racial injustice, let's move on to SoHo Karen.
What was Oh, yeah, yeah, I saw that one. Okay, do you wanna describe it? I didn't wanna talk about that. I wanted to talk about, okay, how about this? The Hunt. This actually
Whoa, wait, I know, but, like, I can't like, we cannot talk about, the Twisted Tea without talking about SoHo Karen. I mean,
Alright, really
okay,
quickly,
you wanna talk about assault, right?
wanna talk about what?
You said you were talking about assault, right? Especially since we're talking about racial injustice, like oppression, why not?
I mean, there's so
A
many.
hotel Karen?
Hold on, we gotta do trigger warnings before we talk about the movies too. Um,
Yeah.
okay,
So
let's talk about the, cell phone Karen.
Soho, as in the part of New York. Well,
Okay,
yeah, the cell phone, yeah.
what does SoHo stand for? South what?
Some part of New York, Soho. I don't know. I don't really give two shits really. The hotel Karen, as she's also called.
Oh,
Okay,
hotel.
the one that forgot her phone and her Uber, and I guess there was some spat, and first person she accuses or whatever is this teenager, black teenager,
Yeah, yeah.
and all of a sudden, she throws a fit. And somehow he automatically has the phone, even though he just came down the elevator, and she'd already checked out.
Mhm, and
So
she
long story short, there was an argument. The dad, who happens to be like this Grammy award musician,
mhm,
says, "No, no, son, don't pull out your phone because she has no right or whatever, right?"
yeah.
So they're on their way to get breakfast, and then like, of course, she gets mad. Not even the manager couldn't do shit about it, and she was trying to use the manager as her white and shining armor, right? No pun intended. So that didn't go out well for her, right?
No, probably she would.
Oh, so you know what happens next? You don't see it on the cell phone video, or but rather than the hotel video where you see her tackle this poor kid
Well,
onto the ground.
even if even if he had stolen her phone, um, this is like this too quick to jump to violence, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was already been disproven that he didn't have the phone because the Uber driver,
Had it.
returned it.
Well, she didn't know that.
Of course, she didn't know that because she jumped into conclusions way too quick,
Mhm.
racially, even.
Well,
Like, come on.
I wonder. I mean, what gives you the impression that it was racial?
I
Other than the fact he
mean,
was black.
why don't you ask the victims? They
What?
believed it was racially motivated.
I mean, of course they do. I mean, if somebody says something to me, how do I know it's not because I'm short and have curly hair? You can make assumptions all day. Maybe she, uh,
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the assumption that she probably had, thinking maybe that black people must be
I
thieves.
mean, I think I watched the short video you sent me, not the whole thing. So I don't know much about it. I just always generally, wonder.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You want to give the benefit of the doubt, everything. Play devil's advocate here. I get you.
Yeah, I always do that. Now, it probably was racial. I don't know. I would say if I had to bet, if I had to put a wager in it, I would lean towards probably was racially motivated. But I just like to ask, like, okay, well, what gives you the impression? Like, what were the reasons? Did she say something about his race?
No, nothing was said about his race, just that,
Like, it,
I guess that she had asked someone else about the phone before the father and the son showed up to the lobby or whatever.
right.
And then
I mean, again, maybe she's just an idiot. Like,
yeah, she's you could be an idiot and a racist, right?
oh yeah, of course, but you
Yeah.
can just be an idiot.
I mean, she is stupid because like if she'd lost her phone, why couldn't she just, you know,
Find my iPhone.
yeah, well, apparently, that they did mention that on the recording.
Yeah,
The
that
father says
that
tells Karen,
would have
"Why
been
don't you use the, find my iPhone thing?" Like, I haven't turned it off. Okay. And if not, why not do the second option? Call the number to your phone, unless you don't know the number to your own fucking phone.
it would have been an easier way to do it. Would just be to ask kindly if the person could help you call.
Yeah, assuming you know the number to your phone. What I'm trying to make the argument here is like,
Yeah,
hey, like every time I lose my phone, I say, hey, babe, can you
yeah,
call
yeah.
my phone?
That would have been a smarter way to go about things, even if
Yeah,
she.
but the thing is, okay, let me ask you something. Do you know the number to your own phone without looking at your contact?
Yeah, I do, but that's unfair because I've had the same phone. No, not the same phone. Same phone number for. Yeah,
Same phone number, yeah, but different phone, maybe different carrier, but
yeah.
same number.
But I don't know your number. I don't have it
Of
memorized.
no, of course not, because all you have to do is look for my name, and my number is assigned to that name.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, okay, all right. So there is that carrot. Okay, so let's move on though, because this is actually more related.
By the way, she's still wanted, and they're looking for her. She's in California, and
Oh,
then I'm surprised no one's done anything
I didn't
to
know
like
about this.
arrest her. Because supposedly she has altercations with police, yada yada yada. She's had
She might,
legal troubles.
she might just be crazy. I don't know anything about her. Like, I don't want to make.
I don't know. Well, we'll see where that goes.
Mhm.
But
Well,
so you wanted to talk about the movies?
I did
Well,
want to talk
let's
about the
do
movies.
that.
Okay, so this takes us to a movie called The Hunt. Tell us a little bit about it, but spoiler alert, trigger warning for those of you who want to see this movie and haven't seen it. Um,
Okay, so it was a movie that came out like early, maybe like 2020, like March. Right before the whole lockdown shit. So pretty much the movie is a whole satire. It's a dark comedy satire about the our political landscape, right?
yeah.
You have the left and the right. So pretty much
The hero's kind of representative of the right.
the liberals are the bad guys and the conservatives,
Right.
the right are the good ones.
Yeah.
Or at
And
least one of them is, or no, one of them actually the main. We'll get to that, right?
okay, so the
So pretty much to sum up the movie, it's like the Hunger Games meets the Purge, right?
right,
They wake up somewhere where they think it's like some part of the south of the United States,
right,
right? They wake up, they getting killed off one by one,
getting hunted. Yeah.
being hunted,
So
right?
okay.
All because of a stupid conspiracy theory.
Well, it wasn't just the conspiracy theory. It was also things that they did, like things that they posted on their social media, right? So words, right?
Hmm.
And most of these people were pretty awful people. But
Are you talking about the people on the left, the liberals?
no, I was talking about the people on the right. But yeah, obviously the people on the left were equally awful. I mean, murder is worse than calling somebody names on Twitter.
Okay, if you watch the movie, it opens up with the text, and they were like joking around about something, and someone said "Viva," spoiler alert, Manorgate, and then
Which is
they
a
joked about something that wasn't real at the time. But once word got out that that text group message got leaked, people think it was real, that it was happening. They lose their jobs, their life, they got canceled, right?
yeah.
So
Which
they get back at those people that persecuted them, that canceled them, right?
right. But it's funny
by having
that
by
is
actually doing what they were joking about
right,
originally.
right. Yeah. And so the funny thing was that they were guilty of what the liberals in this case were guilty of exactly what the conservatives were alleging. Um,
Yeah.
which
The irony, right?
yeah, and I actually do think that happens quite a lot, for both the left and the right, where yeah, they each are guilty usually of exactly what the other side claims. Um, so in some of those cases, these were people who were getting because they would ask them, well, why do you think these people are after you? And they wanted them to realize why they were being hunted
Targeted,
or they
hunted, yeah, killed.
because otherwise just kill them. They wanted them to think about it. They wanted them to realize
Yeah,
so right before they died. So
and it's mostly because of their political beliefs
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. And so like there's a really funny moment where there's a fake immigrant
mhm, the
and
crisis actor.
the character I can't remember his name, but it was played by the guy who plays Randy in My Name Is Earl. What was his name in the movie? Do you remember?
He played Gary. You talk about that guy, that actor that lost weight, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ethan Suplee or Ethan. I just call him Ethan.
It's funny because I really would like them to do a reboot of My Name Is Earl,
Hmm.
but I guess he can't be in there because he wouldn't be funny anymore. He just
Oh, because
too
I
intimidating.
guess what you're trying to imply is fat people are only funny if they're fat, right?
Well, no, I'm actually implying the opposite. If people are so intimidating looking, they can't be funny. You just be intimidated. You would laugh because you're afraid of them and you don't want to get beat up by them.
No. You ever not watch Walking Dead? Negan, he was intimidating, and he's always cracking jokes. Is he not?
But he didn't look as buff as Randy or whatever his name is, Gary.
He was intimidating. He had that jacket, that
Okay.
swagger, that bat.
The funny thing was that he alleged that there weren't really these caravans of immigrants and that they were being
Oh
planted.
yeah, going back to the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and one of them actually was, not really an immigrant, and was just trying to kill him, so that was pretty funny, but again, these are people who I mean, it's like it's the exaggeration of the twisted tea. There are people who hold horrible views, and, um and so holding bad views and saying them on Twitter is not the same as assault or saying them in a public forum like a gas station. Now, the guy should be, I guess that he could be kicked out of the gas station. I don't think you have the right to come into other people's property and berate them. But again, you'd feel sorry for this guy, and there's a good way to handle it and a bad way to handle it. Back to the twisted tea example, anyways. And I
Yeah.
thought assault is the worst way to handle it because the guy would be justified if he fought back. And let's say he won, he would be justified, and legally he would have the law on his side in that case. And so you don't want to be the first person to throw the first punch. Well, anyways, and in the hunt, that's exactly what happens. Is that a few of the characters say something deplorable on Twitter, and then they actually dehumanize the other. They dehumanize the other political party so that they can hunt them down and treat them like animals. Um, and so it's an interesting movie. I recommend watching it.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie. Yeah, I like how going to the protagonist, right?
Yeah.
So she actually doesn't give a flying fuck, right? She has no beliefs. They just it was a so spoiler alert, it was a case of mistaken identity.
Mhm.
They thought that she was this you know person on Twitter or whatever social media who called out on the whole thing conspiracy, right? Turns out it wasn't even her.
Yeah.
She was just happens to be a war veteran who hates her fucking job. It
Yeah.
was a case of mistaken identity.
But
She
she
ends up killing the
well,
Hilary Swank's character.
so
And
uh
then you know what's I like about it? There's that Animal Farm reference. If any of you have read Animal Farm,
there was also like a sort of argument about like she kind of represented the common people just in the way she spoke, right? She was from
hmm
the South, and like the views of the liberal elite that they think they know how to solve all the problems. It kind of really did a good job of satirizing and to some degree analyzing our political environment because that is often the case where people argue that the liberal elite just don't understand the average common person, and she is in a sense kind of the average common person in terms of her views because she was right in the middle. She was
Yeah,
neither.
she was neutral. She's like,
Yeah, she was
let
not.
anybody try to kill him, I'm just gonna kill them back. I don't care why I'm here. I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah, because they're trying to kill me. Um, yeah, and it kind of speaks to where we're at.
And
It's
yeah, especially towards the ending. So spoiler alert, like in the ending, right after she kills the main bitch, right? She she completely was like lavishes herself with this new lifestyle. She pretty much took over what of Athena was her name, Hilary Swank's character.
Mhm.
You know, the one that was one of the liberal elites.
Right. Yeah,
Takes over her quote unquote mansion, and then
and then her airplane or her.
her airplane, her dog, whatever, that expensive champagne or whatever. Pretty much saying that, you know, fuck it, I'm this new person now.
Right, right. Yeah, it was a good movie.
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think that scene was trying to say exactly?
Um, the one with the private jet where she finally where they end with her drinking the
Yeah.
um I don't know. I don't really know.
I don't know, I'm trying to find a deeper meaning to that movie. I mean, yeah, it has an animal farm reference, you know, like another movie we that we've seen, right? I had you watch it as well. Death to 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally Death to 2020, right?
I like that one as much, but I did like Lisa Kudrow's character. I thought she was cool.
Yeah, I like Leslie Jones's character, you know the black lady from SNL, from Ghostbusters. Her, right? She plays a psychologist or does a parody of a psychologist,
Or the
and she says, "I sent you a clip of it, right?" She's like, "You're either on the right, thinking that Hitler was not even that bad of a guy, or you're on the left, being a whiny little liberal, bitching, complaining
right.
about everything, getting everything canceled, and you could take a dump at the wrong time of day and you can get canceled." So you'll pick a team and sit and
Where we're
I
at.
don't know. I can't even remember what she said right after that. But she says pick a team and simmer the fuck down or something within those lines.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like the scientist when he's like, "What is wrong with you people?" Because every
What is
time,
wrong with your people? I
yeah,
like his accent. He's like, what is wrong with your people? Are you not interested in the science?
like
He's like, honestly, no. He's like, oh.
that feels pretty much like where we're at these days with with COVID. But I also like Lisa Kudrow's character about the
Yeah, because conservative voices are being silenced.
yeah, which I don't know if she's supposed to be like I felt like a Jordan Peterson vibe there, but maybe also a
Wait, how do you compare it to Jordan Peterson?
well, that's kind of one of his arguments, or not. That's not one of his arguments, but it's like
That conservative voices are being silenced?
yeah, which I mean, there's some degree of that. Not completely silenced, but there is some degree like, yes, Joe Rogan has a huge reach. But it did remind me of Jordan Peterson. So she says conservative voices are being silenced. I said so on Joe Rogan's podcast, on Tucker Carlson's show.
And she actually mentioned Jordan Peterson
No, she didn't, but there was a Jordan Peterson reference. So,
or the kayaking or whatever, George Peterson kayaking. I
well,
guess making fun of the voice thing with Jordan Peterson.
no, I don't think that was it. It was the New York Times bestseller and my New York Times bestseller. But I don't know if you know this. Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life, was like a number one or top 10 bestseller, and it was left off of the New York Times bestseller list.
Well, you can't be on that top 10 for long, apparently.
No, no, you just can't be it if you're Jordan Peterson.
Okay, I don't know.
I mean,
We're gonna.
I was just saying there is some reality to that, that conservative voices are somewhat being
Okay, well, first of all, other than I know him as just being a psychologist, I don't know what his political views are.
other. I like his psychology stuff. I wish he'd drop all the political stuff, honestly. I don't agree with really any of his political views. I think sometimes he
And
makes
I know you're a Jordan Peterson fan in
yeah,
terms of his psychology.
again, yeah, I like the guy. I think that a lot of his political stuff, one, you shouldn't apply it to US because he lives in Canada. I don't think it applies to the US.
Yeah, he's Canadian, so I don't think that.
And so, but also a lot of it isn't very well thought out, I think. I
I
think
mean, he's Canadian, so we kind of like
stick to the psychology.
disregard that. Anyway, so going back to the death of 2020.
Saying is an example. Yeah, yeah, I think it's a joke, but kinda. I mean, there was that whole adpocalypse. It actually affected everybody, not just conservatives. But I don't know if you know about adpocalypse. Um,
No, tell me.
oh, a couple years back, I want to say it was like 2017, 2018. There was adpocalypse, and they decided that basically everybody got demonetized, and so it became harder to make money on social media for making content. So, like, I don't know if you know this. My
Oh, because like some stupid algorithm or bullshit.
Yeah, my channel actually was, allowed to monetize, and now it's no longer able to, and it won't be able to. I mean, we'd have to be
And why is that? Why do you believe you got demonetized?
well, it's an algorithm thing, but it's also
But
a
if you had to suspect why the algorithm picked you up and
oh, no,
demonetized,
mine was a pretty flat thing. It's just you're not popular enough to get monetization. Now, here's the thing.
more like suppression. I don't think they want anyone that's a YouTuber to be a
They don't want just any
famous YouTuber.
well, yeah, it's leaning more towards, and I don't know if you've noticed this with your YouTube, it's leaning more towards companies that pay influencers. So they have characters, they have people who, like they have like these are almost their TV shows or their shows, and so a lot of YouTubing is now pretty pretty large. It's owned by bigger companies. It's these larger parent companies paying them,
So pretty much YouTubers are forced to sell out.
yeah, yeah, kind of. And I don't know, it's kind of like the death of YouTube because a lot of the things that I used to like about YouTube, like I like going on YouTube and hearing somebody's opinion on something. But now we know they're getting paid to give that opinion.
As long as they get paid, that's all that matters.
Well, no, because now we don't trust their opinions anymore, right? And so it's kind of a bad thing. They made it harder.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see.
And they
Trust
make
your
it so that you
opinions.
have to be really popular, or your videos get no views, 0 views. So, like, Jordan Peterson, yes, he does get, some conservatives, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Sam Harris, if you wanna call him a conservative, he's really a centrist. They do get views, they do have a platform, but if you're not super famous, you don't
Well,
left
they're only popular because they're not YouTubers first, they're people of expertise.
where did Joe Rogan get, podcasts get
Joe
pop
Rogan was an entertainer. He was a comedian. He was a commentator for the
Yeah, a
UFC.
lot of people listened to him on YouTube before he got his Spotify
He's,
deal.
he's almost like the Renaissance man. He's done it. He's been everyone done that. He's been a TV shows for Fear Factor. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't really become big from Fear Factor. I mean, his podcast.
Oh, okay. Think of it this way. Joe Rogan's like the Oprah Winfrey for men. All right.
Yeah, he's super famous. His podcast, like, if you had to choose between going on CNN or Joe Rogan to get your message out, more people would you would hit more people if you go to Joe Rogan's show. So I actually really like that Bernie Sanders went on Joe Rogan. I don't know if you remember that.
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't doubt who hasn't gone on the Joe Rogan experience.
A lot of people haven't gone on, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I would watch more Joe Rogan if it wasn't on fucking Spotify.
it is on Spotify now. Apparently, I hate
Yeah,
Spotify.
yeah. So
I don't listen to it because
I don't know. Maybe he got tired of YouTube's algorithm, and that's why he's on
no,
Spotify.
nope, that was not it. They just paid him an obscene amount of money. He
Oh
could
yeah, there's always that too. Yeah.
that was it. That was actually it. He said it on his podcast, like, "I couldn't turn down the money. It's too much."
Like I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, you can't say no. They made him an offer, he just
They made him an offer you can't refuse.
yeah.
Just
Uh,
like Tom made MySpace, and it was popular, and
then it
then I guess someone gave him money, and
I don't know. They
then he's like, okay, I'm gonna get my check and bounce later, people.
Oh, is that what happened, and then Facebook took over?
I
Um,
don't know if Facebook took over. I mean, they took over, but I don't think they owned MySpace. I think
oh,
MySpace is still MySpace. It's still called MySpace, but it's something else now. It's not
yeah, I
like
think
the
it still
MySpace.
exists. Yeah, Justin
You
Timberlake,
know it.
you were involved in that, right? As
You
just
knew it. What's that?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake was involved somehow in that, right?
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
2 years ago. I don't. You
Alright.
know what? It's just irrelevant. No one goes on MySpace because it's not like a music thing. All right.
It's out there. That's called the deep web, right? It's not the dark web, but
Not the deep web. It's the dark web. It's somewhere between the deep and dark web.
yeah, you have to, like, look for it. It's not gonna just show up somewhere, but they probably still I bet you those profiles might still exist out there. All
Yeah.
photos of yourself, and the
Let's stop remembering the past. This is 2020.
right, 2021.
Oh my gosh, you're right. 2021.
Yeah.
See,
Okay,
see how I'm stuck in 2020?
you are
Feels like we had never fucking left 2020.
okay. All right. So okay, on to another movie. So I just we're gonna do a couple movies today. Spoiler alert. Let's talk about 1984.
Wonder Woman 1984. I
Yeah.
like how we went from 2020 to literally 1984.
Yeah.
And funny how we're not talking about George Orwell's 1984. Wait, you tell me the guy who did 1984 was also did Animal Farm?
The same guy? Yeah. Who did Brave New World? That was
I'm
Huxley or
talking about books here. I don't know about movie adaptations.
oh, okay. So where were we?
Anyway, that was just a side thought.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, okay, so spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Wonder Woman 1984, you probably
or just one also known as Wonder Woman 84. But
yeah.
however they market the movie. Okay, my thoughts on it.
You like it?
I like it for the other reasons. I'm not liking it because of Gal Gadot. She's
Oh,
overrated. I'm done over with Gal Gadot.
right? Really? I actually thought she was good in this one.
Really? No, I think the main center of attention in this movie was the Mandalorian, and
Oh,
by that I mean Pedro Pascal.
yeah, yeah, he was great. Yeah, I thought he did a good job. Um,
You know what? Life can be good.
do you think his character was
Life is good,
I've heard his character's
but
pretty
it can be better.
on
You
Trump.
you ruined it. I was just trying to quote the line he said in the movie.
Oh, I don't remember the line. But
He says, "Life could be good, but it could be better."
okay, but he's supposed to be like a huckster. Do you think he's based on Trump?
You know what? I've heard something on the internet that he's probably based on Trump. Maybe the hairline
Mhm.
in the suit and the fact that he's rich.
Yeah. And that he's
But
all
other than that, I really don't see it.
ego
He's not arrogant as Trump.
I would say he seems pretty arrogant. He's egomaniac, and then they put the son in there. So like Trump is known for being like if there's one redeeming fact quality about Trump, people tend to claim it's about him being a good father.
Nah, I think it would be the opposite. I don't know.
Remember that even in the debates with Hillary, she said say something nice about Trump, and she's like, he's a nice father, like something like that. Like
That was probably a bold faced lie. Come on.
yeah, of course it was a lie. That's how
I
Hillary
mean, that's like saying Bowser being a good dad to his children.
probably yeah. I mean, I guess you can't lie about that.
But then again, you wouldn't know anything because you don't play any of the Super Mario games.
Oh, oh, well, what if we also talked we got to talk about Eagle Fang karate next time because
Yeah. Let me just catch up on Karate Kid, but let's talk about Wonder Woman 84. Let's not
yeah, because we
jump
said
around too much.
what if Bowser's really the good guy? Okay, which
Okay, yeah, speaking of really the good guy, I think Pedro Pascal's character, Maxwell Lord, that was the name of his character, right? I
yeah,
think he was the good guy,
you think so? How?
and Wonder Woman was the bad guy because Wonder Woman was just being selfish and bringing back her dead boyfriend,
Well, okay, so there was that article I sent you.
which is part of the plot, which is like, oh, your wish brings back. Okay, mention that article. Go ahead.
Okay, so the article mentions that nobody seemed to ponder the ethical dilemma or the problem of bringing back her boyfriend. And what happens to this other guy's soul? What happens to this other guy? He just ceases to exist. And, um,
Well,
it
if you watch the ending, supposedly he comes back.
comes
That
back.
was
But that should have been the reason. That alone should have been enough reason to have resigned or given away or given back her wish, right?
hmm
Like I think that's pretty sinister that they don't even think about it. They don't even stop to ponder the ethical consequences of this other guy losing his life.
and then that's perfect for his Pedro Pascal's character, right? So he wishes to become the stone. So anything that people's wish for or their desires come true, but he gets something out of it too.
Right. Well, yeah, the thing that they love the most.
So in this case, Wonder Woman, wishing for her, Steve Trevor to come back, but in return, she loses. The downside is she loses her powers.
Yeah, but see, it creates an externality because somebody else loses their life.
Yeah, I mean they lose something.
Yeah, but the movie focuses on her losing her powers. It doesn't focus on the other innocent person losing
I
the
mean, they kind of show glimpses of it, like okay, supposedly when
yeah,
towards the end of the movie, you see people wishing for their
yeah,
wishes, like oh, I wish all the Irish people get arrested and voted, and you literally seconds after that, you see someone getting arrested, and then one of the Irish guys said, oh, like I wish that you dropped dead, and literally a second later,
but
woman drops dead.
those are a little more obvious because the movie does show it. The movie doesn't, doesn't even give any pause to the idea that this guy ceases to exist. Like it's like, and they put the guy in danger the whole time, and she
Okay,
raped
which guy are you referring to?
the guy's body, and she actually rapes him while he's unconscious because he's not present. She rapes his body. Um, and
Yeah, because it technically wasn't Steve Trevor,
who's Steve Trevor?
the dead boyfriend.
Yeah, it's not his body at least. And so not only are they physically putting him in danger throughout the whole movie where his body could be destroyed, but she sexually assaults him.
I don't know, maybe like okay, I don't really get the wishing
Just because
like
you're not conscious doesn't make it okay.
okay, I don't get the plot device, right? So like the wishing, I don't know how it works. You wish for it, but it happens kind of instantly. So that means is everything that's happening like constructed like within that reality, or are they the people and things that are happening like are they like a figment of that reality
I don't know, and it
constructed for
doesn't
that wish,
yeah, it
or is it somehow it's just a coincidence that it happened? Okay, like for example, the first wish that was made, the coffee, right?
which
For
one
that, that scientist guy or whatever, he's like, "Oh, I wish for a cup of coffee," and I don't know where this other guy comes in with a cup of coffee.
could have pre-existed the wish, right? It's not like matter popping out of nothing, right?
Yeah, it almost kind of seems like it though.
So there's that element, but it really did. There were elements where somebody said, "I wish for that wall," right? And then there creates this wall out of nowhere. So then there were things popping in out of reality. I mean, if you're gonna like use magic as a
Okay, so was it like when he was wishing? Was it more like a Thanos kind of like
kind of
power? Was that that kind of omnipotent power?
yeah, I really think so. And so I was gonna say, if you were gonna be able to have infinite ability to manipulate reality, they could have just brought back the boyfriend. They didn't have to do this thing where the other guy dies or doesn't
Well,
die.
the other guy never died. He just,
What happens to him? I mean, what do you call it when somebody ceases to exist?
I think he was just possessed. Or okay, you ever seen that movie like Down to Earth with Chris Rock, and he dies and he comes back in the body of a white man?
He did die though, right? So they
Yeah,
switch the body. Okay, so ethically,
so it's kind of like that.
no, it's not like that because the guy actually died of natural causes. They didn't kill him.
Doesn't matter how he died. It's just the way they brought him back.
Well, yeah, but there is a difference. This guy was a perfectly alive guy who, because Wonder Woman makes his wish, it ceases to.
Her wish.
Yeah,
Just gendered Wonder Woman. Did you just assume?
I said Wonder Woman makes a wish.
Oh, you just said his wish. Okay.
Oh, well, a wish, whoever's wish, to bring her dead boyfriend back.
Well, that was her desire.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, this guy was innocent. He didn't do anything, and she never even stops to pause to think. Maybe this isn't right.
We know she didn't ask for Steve Trevor to assume another man's body. It just happened to be another man's body.
Yeah, I'm wondering why they did that. Like, why the makers of the film chose.
I'll tell you why. Lazy writing.
Yeah, probably. And I thought they missed the good opportunity for uh representation because they could have changed the identity of the
There was Pedro Pascal's Latino, but I guess he came off as a white man.
well, hey, is that a commentary on the white adjacentness of Hispanics now?
I don't know. What do you mean? Elaborate.
Well, so when Florida went to Donald J. Trump, a lot of academics were saying that Hispanics are white adjacent, and so um,
I
I,
mean, if you're saying that some of us look white, then yeah, I guess myself included. But I'm not white.
I don't know what that. Yeah, I don't even.
You look white.
Well,
I
not.
think you're white adjacent.
I don't know what it means, but anyways, it's a way to just like I actually don't really know too much what they mean by it, but I guess it's just to say that Hispanic people start to vote Republican. but which is also genuinely
But
about.
let's let's not look too deep into it. Let's just talk about the awesome performance that was from Pedro Pascal, aka the Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mando was cool. I don't know if it
I
was
can
like
bring you in warm,
really that.
or I can bring
I
you in
think
cold.
he did a lot with what he was given. I felt like.
Yeah, every time I do a quote, you always talk over it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I like the when the Mandalorian he says, "I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold."
Okay.
That was just like his first line in the series.
Oh, really? Really? I
And then in the Wonder Woman 1984 with Maxwell Lord, his character, right? Like especially when you see him in like in the commercials, he's like, and when he says it to Kristen Wiig's character and Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman, he says, "Life is good, but it could be better."
right.
I don't know. I just wish I had that tinge Hispanic accent,
Yeah. Hmm.
kind of like Antonio Banderas,
Right. So
but not too much of the heaviness of the accent.
there was another theme I caught with the movie that of like the whole thing with the oil, like as a natural resource, basically
Mhm.
that we're paying a price for using this wonderful thing that has brought us so much.
Wow, I didn't realize Wonder Woman 1984 was so woke.
Well, I thought there was like a climate change message there. I don't know. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't know. I mean, things were actually happening in 1984
Yeah. Why do you think they chose 1984? That was another odd.
because they want. Okay, first and foremost, the 80s was a popular decade. So we went from Wonder Woman being from World War II. That's what like World War II is like 34. I don't know, like give or take 30, 40 years more later.
Hey, do you think that when her boyfriend came back, was he like, "You didn't cheat on me while I was gone, did you?"
Uh, I don't know. Well, not yet because she hasn't fucked Batman or Superman.
At the
That's
end,
not till way after that.
at the end, she's like, "I'll never love again." He's like, "Okay, but no sex, right?"
Yeah, I like how he comes back. It's like, wow, everything's art. What is that? Was that? Oh, that's just a trash can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Although, it kinda does remind you, like, I guess the one thing about it is it does kinda make it a little bit funny because everything seems super high
Yeah,
tech.
yeah. So that's how I felt like it was. It was way different from the original movie.
Mhm.
It was too campy, and like a lot of the stuff that happened in the 80s, a lot of the TV shows and movies that were in the 80s were campy.
Did Wonder Woman was there a movie that came out in 1984? Is that significant?
Uh, Terminator, the original Terminator came out in 1984.
Mm.
Maybe it's a nod to the actual George Orwell 1984.
Oh, hmm, that's a possibility. There you go.
I don't know. There's something about 1984. I don't know. Maybe the Berlin Wall, or who knows what happened in
Mhm.
1984. Like I would Google that. I would search that myself, but I'm like laying in bed as I'm doing this podcast.
Uh-huh. Yeah, do you think it was uh that it adequately addressed social justice as a movie?
Mm, by having people wish their wishes.
I don't
I
know.
don't.
I didn't see much of a social, because you said it was woke. I didn't see much of a social justice, theme in the movie.
I
But
don't know.
The
I just wish
Mandalorian
the cheetah was more of a cheetah.
right, right. The Mandalorian did a great job at the social justice messaging. I don't know if you saw the meme. I sent you the meme where it shows like how natural it felt when there were like 4 or 5. I don't remember how many women there were, but it was like a scene of all women just like kicking ass.
Oh, you talk about with the Amazonians and Themyscira where they're just competing.
No, no.
Pretty much as the flashback. Are you talking about the flashback scene?
I was talking about the Mandalorian. Sorry, I jumped around. I said the Mandalorian did a really good job.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we moved on to
Sorry,
Mandalorian.
sorry. Yeah, and another movie I thought did an excellent job was Soul, but we don't have to talk about that one. We could talk about that next time. Uh,
Yeah, we can talk about
but
the next
I
time.
didn't really feel much of a social justice message, and I think the social justice message is great when it doesn't feel like it's forced.
Okay, again, we're talking about what?
Um, uh, I was talking about Wonder Woman
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. There's still a social message. I don't know. Does
because
everything have to have
Well,
some
you know,
message and
in
morale. I
2020.
mean, yeah, I mean there was because remember in the beginning of the movie, the mom says, "Oh, truth," because I suppose she cheated
Yeah,
during the race or whatever.
I thought that was kinda lame.
Yeah, again, lazy writing. And then towards the end, where she was weak, she was trying to like convince, Maxwell Lord, to stop having people wishing and renounce the wish,
Yeah, and I don't even think he goes to jail or gets any sort of
or
punishment.
or any punishment or any consequence.
Right. You can just destroy.
I think I see this movie as a man who would do anything to have his son love him, and that's what the real movie was about.
Which was his son would have loved
And
him.
then there's this woman who just wanted her dead boyfriend back, who was actually the bad guy.
Oh, so Wonder
He
Woman's
was
actually
selfish.
a bad guy or person, bad person? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I do think that they missed some opportunity with, like, they could have brought back, Wonder Woman's boyfriend in a trans woman's body, and so they could have made it more about caring about the person inside and not the exterior or the outside of I don't know.
Yeah.
Done
Well,
something.
let's talk about Cheetah's transformation. All right. So, like, she wanted to be just like Wonder Woman, right?
At
So,
first.
she wanted the strength and beauty. She
Mhm.
does, but she kind of became corrupted. And then before that, you see her get. Well, that movie was a little woke too, because then you had like this guy who was harassing her while she was jogging, right?
Yeah, there is that,
I
okay,
guess he was like the quote unquote Harvey Weinstein.
right. And he was wearing a suit, yeah, so there is something about that, like, women in the workplace trying to rise through the
But
s
I do like the scene where after she got her, powers, she sees the same guy that was harassing her earlier. She kicks the ever living shit out of that guy.
right, right. What do you think that she gave up? 'Cause I mean, is it that she gave up her personality? Like,
Or maybe for her humanity, maybe.
Oh, okay, I see.
Hence the cheetah.
Mhm.
But even then the cheetah didn't look that convincing.
Yeah, no.
It's like that fight scene was just really short lived. And
Mhm.
then they didn't explain too much of the armor. I know they explained it for a very little bit, but I think again that was very
Yeah,
lazy.
no, it's really the a lot of the writing seemed like kinda, but, I didn't think it was terrible. I actually liked the movie overall.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And then like I like how she was flying, or was she really flying? I'm talking about Wonder Woman here, right?
Oh, I
Where
think
she was up in the sky, or was she flying? I know you made that Toy Story reference just now. Did you?
yeah, I did, yeah.
In
I don't know, yeah, I don't
case
know.
you didn't hear it, guys. Okay, was she flying, or is it just falling in style?
Right, I think it was Falling with Style. They did at least bring her invisible plane jet thing.
Didn't they did it when they were in the jet when her and Steve Trevor they were in some plane and that kind of just went like cloaked in invisibility. Was that not the invisible jet right then and there?
Guessing that
I
was
don't know. I would have to rewatch that movie.
yeah. Yeah, you should check it out. I tried to watch it again, but honestly, I couldn't.
Why is that?
I don't know, I just, I'm in a it's like we're in a day and age where I don't feel like people watch movies more than once.
I do. I've watched the original Wonder Woman more than once,
Well, old
but
movies,
I watched Wonder Woman 1984 more than once. I'll probably watch it one more time just because of Pedro Pascal.
like,
Other than that,
I
the
could still
movie
watch
was horrible. I blame it on the pandemic or whatever. I don't know.
I can still watch the Step Brothers or Talladega Nights or
I can watch all the John. I've seen the original John Wick movie more than once, probably like 4 or 5 times. I've seen the original Deadpool more than once.
yeah.
I've seen The Sandlot more than once.
Okay, but with
There's
the
some movies you can actually enjoy watching more than once. Star Wars is one of them, obviously.
I generally speaking, I don't watch a movie more than once now. And
The Room I've seen more than once.
if I try to, I'm like, I've already seen this, so it's hard for me to watch more than once. Maybe if it's like really hazy and I want to see something from the past, but like old movies I will watch more than once, but not
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some movies that are just so likable you can watch them more than once.
right, right. And you can quote them too. I don't feel like I'm
Yeah,
quoting.
like The Room. Every time I watch The Room, I can say, like, "Oh, hi, Lisa.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
hi, Mom."
for viewers, don't watch this horrible movie called The Room, that Jason seems to revere so much.
Yeah.
Wasted your life. You'll want your time back.
Or might improve your life. I don't know.
definitely not. Anyways, okay, so should we wrap up there?
Now let's wrap it up. I was gonna say let's name some dead celebrities that passed away this year
Why?
because there are people too at the end of the day.
True, but you never knew them.
Oh yeah, just like you never need Kobe.
Well, yeah, we did do a Kobe tribute. Well, yeah, we already did the Kobe
We
tributes.
did the Kobe tribute, but why does Kobe only get recognition when there's other people that passed away? Maybe there was nowhere as important or significant
Okay, well, tell me.
as Kobe.
So obviously, there are people you want to mention. So who passed away?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. I swear 2020 is like 2016 with it when it comes to dead celebrities. Um, I don't know, Kenny Rogers,
That's is that a singer? I don't even know.
country singer, Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, you're making this harder for me. I'm blanking out right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do know the person who played. Was it Marianne?
Marianne, who's that?
In Gilligan's Island. She passed away, and she seemed nice. Um, but I don't really know too many people who passed away.
Here, I'm gonna pull up that list.
Okay.
Just hang tight.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly Preston,
I don't know who that is.
John Travolta's wife.
Oh, I feel bad for him. That's
Oh yeah, Sean Connery. How dare we forget Sean Connery?
yeah, true.
Sean Connery, the original James Bond.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, not too shabby. Martin Bond, James Bond.
That is true. Yeah. Sean Connery was at least
There's one that no one saw coming, and it was more of a surprise. Chadwick Boseman,
right. Okay.
aka the Black Panther. Do you not know the Black Panther?
No,
You not seen Black Panther?
I was listening. I was waiting for you to talk about him or more people.
Oh yeah, yeah. Supposedly he died of cancer. No, actually, no one saw it coming. He had it. He kept it a secret.
Right. That
All this time when he's filming these movies, he was undergoing diagnosis.
yeah, and that kind of leads you to like a larger message of not making assumptions about people or kind of just realizing that we don't know what's going on in other people's lives because it's not necessarily something that we'll ever show or we'll ever know about the person. We should really
Yeah,
all
he was only 42. Yeah, I mean, this guy played Jackie Robinson, James Brown. I don't know any other historical. I'm probably forgetting another historical figure he might have played. But again, that guy who played Black Panther, right? Young guy, 42, passed away from cancer. Man, it's just crazy. Let's see who else passed away.
I never really watched Jeopardy, so I mean I
Oh
don't.
yeah, the Jeopardy guy, Alex Trebek. I've never watched it, but you got to respect the guy just showing up to the show day in, day out, doing the show.
And a lot of people a lot of family members and people that people actually know because of COVID. I mean, what are we at in terms of the death toll now? I don't even know. I stopped checking every day because
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a sad year, 2020. I mean, it's more than just dead celebrities, right?
365,620 deaths.
Yeah.
And it's been like every time I look, it's like 2,000 a day. Oh wow. So yesterday there were total deaths. No, that can't be right. Is that you?
Yeah. So as they continue on with the list, the actor who was in the bodysuit of Boba Fett in the original Star Wars.
Oh.
But you wouldn't know that because you don't.
No, I honestly, when they showed Boba Fett's face, I'm like, I don't even recognize this guy.
No, not the face, just the before that guy in the original trilogy.
I gotta watch him again. Okay, so with the people who died yesterday, 3,499. So that's a lot of people dying a day.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I thought this segment was just dedicated to.
Well, I think a life is a life, and that
True. Yeah.
that should be mentioned.
As you're talking about that, we'll talk about everything. Some actor who passed away from COVID. Robert Conrad. Don't know who that was. Broadway guy, I'm sure. Oh wait, was that his name? Or was it? No, it was Nick Corretto. Was the other guy?
Yeah, I do. The Broadway guy. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm missing a name here.
Well,
Oh, the guy from Friday.
I don't know.
You know, the big black guy, the one that played Devo, or
It's been a long
no?
time since I've seen the movie. Sorry.
Okay, did you ever watch The Fifth Element?
Um,
He was the president of the whatever.
I know. I'm just thinking about what you and Angelo said to me. It's like you haven't seen a lot of movies. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think we needed Angelo for this podcast.
Probably he'd probably catch the references.
Oh, I'll tell you one big name, Death, and how dare we forget her since we're talking about politics. You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm referring to?
Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, how dare we forget about her? She's not a celebrity, but she was, she was a big name.
Absolutely.
Probably a celebrity within her own right,
Yeah.
87.
Yeah, that's true. So should we end on that note of well, this is kind of a sad note actually, but I guess on a hopeful note, for kind of record keeping, people are being vaccinated. I have a family member who got vaccinated.
Yeah, let's move on to that
and things are looking pretty good. I think it's starting a little slow, but it's a
the rollout's been slow, definitely for sure. How many more let me ask you, how many more speed bumps do we have to get through to get at full swing with the vaccine rollout?
I think it generally will take a little while to get some momentum, but once momentum gets going, I think that it will speed up. There are some controversies with the vaccine, but we could talk about it next time because I'll go on for half an hour if we.
Yeah. So again, like I said, I intended it to be a two-parter, or we could just go back to another regular episode.
Let's talk about Soul, and let's talk about the vaccine next time.
Yeah, let's talk about Happy New Year's, guys. I hope you hopefully had a wonderful holiday as well.
Happy birthday.
And we just hope that 2021 is not going to be a shitty year.
And happy birthday to you, Jason, since this will probably get released on your birthday.
Yeah, it's going to get released on my birthday. I'll be getting yet another test.
Cool. Hopefully.
Just because one can't be too sure.
Hopefully you don't pass it.
Yeah, so I can just collect unemployment, right?
Oh, if you pass it? No, I mean don't pass it. Like you're negative.
Oh, okay. I thought.
No, I don't want you.
I see what you did. Don't pass it. Not that kind of test.
Right.
Yeah. All right then. Signing out.